So I gotta figure out. Thanks for joining, guys. I gotta figure out how I put this build together because it's been a while since I played, like a few weeks, and I've just been knee deep in other games that are like this. So I'm immediately remembering that this is my Necromancer Summon Frost build. It doesn't do anything like Blast Cannon well, but summons a lot of creatures, and I think the main one was this Raging Spirit. Just being able to spam it, along with, I think, a bunch of aura abilities to help buff those pets. So let's pop into an area where I can actually fight stuff and see what's going on. Okay, so it looks like we've got a number of creatures with us here. Alright. And we've got some auras already running, and two that are not. Okay, so let's see. 31% reserved. I think I can do, and 143 reserve. So I can do Clarity for sure. I don't know that I can also run Discipline, so let's give those a go. Okay, that takes us down pretty low. And Clarity... Okay, so that leaves us with enough mana left over to cast all our stuff. So let's see, we've got Clarity running for pretty darn quick mana regen. We've got Discipline running, which helps with energy shield recharge. Elemental resistances are always good, and health regen, which is also very good. Okay, so let's see, with the playthrough, what did I take out to put that there that I now need to put back? I think it was that. Okay, so we've got all our summons up, running a bunch of auras. It looks like all these guys have their shields on them. I can see them recharging. And then basically how this goes is... So, okay, I already had one out, obviously, now that I see him here. So that's good, too. Okay, so... Raised Spectre will happen... I think actually he's already right there. So all of my summons are out. If they die, I can resummon them quickly with WR and... That's good. WR and middle mouse. And then we're going to be using E on priority bosses in a large battle. So when there's a bunch of trash mobs around and we need to down a boss quickly, we're going to hit him with E, and makes all the minions focus him and also deal more damage to him. This is basically just our travel ability. You know how blink spells work in Path of Exile. But yeah, essentially that's just zoom from here to there, and it leaves a bunch of stuff on the ground in the meantime. You also, whenever you get to where you are, it does a short frost blast around you. So sort of like that. It leaves a patch of ice there, and then where you land. So a lot of times what we're doing is just zooming from pack to pack, letting the mobs behind us, or I'm sorry, letting the pets behind us mop up. But then whenever there's, you know, something we need to stop at, we just start summoning a bunch of these Raging Spirits, which are these flaming skulls that are all buffed with all of those aura skills that we had as well. Cool, new beast captured, that's cool. So yeah, that's essentially how we're approaching this, is have all the pets around, dart from location to location, and then spam additional Raging Spirits when we need them. I don't know that any of these items are any good. There's probably a way, and maybe someone can post in the comments how I do that, to filter only by currencies. So only by, you know, stuff like this, instead of by items, because I always end up picking up stuff that I invariably don't want. Like a lot of this stuff just ends up becoming sell fodder for stuff I don't even really want. So I usually do identify yellows. Those are worth identifying and then selling. And then every now and then you'll see like a blue, red, green, all linked, and those can get you a chromatic item as well, which is good currency for changing color on your items. But most of that stuff is trash, so I'll just leave it there. But yeah, so as we start going back through this, darting around, looks like I put this on my bar as well. I don't know that I buffed it, to be honest. I probably should be. See, there's one we were talking about. Oh, it doesn't have the green one linked. I'll grab it anyway, though. I probably should take a stop for a minute and look at how I have my gems set up. So, Holy Relic, Purity of Elements. Okay, so none of those really do anything. I think I put this in here just to level it, but it's not actually leeching. Yeah, it's... Oh, actually, it is working off Summon Holy Relic, so that does work with itself. And then a lot of these are... Okay. I think I just stuffed that in there because that's the only red socket I have in all of my gear. But yeah, eventually I'm going to want to get better gear that links all of these things together more directly. I know that I'm going to want to have a 6 blue socket chest for my summons to all have the buff building off of each other. But for now, it looks like phantasms popping off of my raging spirits. They have higher health, that's great. Damage, life, support on my zombies. Discipline and clarity don't match, but they're stuffed in there anyway. My Spectre has damage and speed, along with my Golem, which I put in there, okay. And then Frostblink. Oh, that's interesting. Cannot support instant skills. Okay, so that's in there for Ice Nova. Oh, okay, so one cast of Ice Nova. I forgot that I did that. Now I'm remembering as I play this. I'm remembering. Okay.
Do not worry, little beast. We are friends now.
Huh. I mean, this zone is probably way, way, way underneath the content I should be doing for a character this level. So let's find something that's actually a challenge, because this is far too easy.
When I'm ready, and not before.
Alright, so yeah, Act 5 is unlocked, and I'm sitting here wasting my time in Act 3. Okay, I remember going and doing parts of Act 5, and it becoming significantly more difficult than Act 4. So, as I refamiliarize myself with the build, I remember that there was something that I had left to unlock. The Lord's Labyrinth, let's see, the Ascendancy. Where does that happen at? Well, we'll just go into Act 5, it doesn't matter. Okay, so, King's Feast. Alright, we'll see if we can head here. And then we're gonna... we're gonna want to head this way somewhere. Okay, not too bad. Nothing instantly killing us, which this game has a tendency to do by Act 5 if your build isn't solidly in a place where it can be very defensive or do what it's supposed to do. You find that glass cannon builds do not solo well at all in this game. So this is a nice change of pace from all of that. Again, I'm not sure that this content is necessarily really testing my my wits here. on this character build, but at least I can do Act 5 content and not instantly get killed. I've definitely made builds before where I thought, oh man, look at how much damage this build puts out. And then you get to Act 5, and these trash mobs are killing you with one hit. You take one errant spear to the head, and your character's gone. So this, yeah, it's always the test. You can usually plow through Act 1, 2, and even some builds in Act 3 without really knowing if your build is viable endgame or not. It's still not a guarantee that this build is viable endgame either, but it's viable up to this point, which is a good sign. So as long as I keep adding some defenses to it, and obviously socket it correctly or socket it more efficiently, then yeah, I'll be able to do that. Now this doesn't really even have any. There's not even really any major build enabling items that I have here either. Oh, something's gonna kill me if I don't pay attention. But yeah, my gear is mostly just trash loot. I mean, I'm not over optimizing or min-maxing anything. I'm just prioritizing what gear has the color sockets that I need in the priority that I need them, and that's sort of what I've done. So someone's probably going to come back and tell me maybe I should be picking up more of these items that are dropping. And they're probably right. But yeah, for now, really, it's just a matter of having fun with the build, darting around, killing stuff. Eventually, I know what I need to really make this build pop is essentially being able to run all these auras and then some, and that's done by reducing the reserve mana amount on auras. That allows me to run a lot more of them, and stacking more auras is usually always good, especially in a group setting. There's a type of character that is like an aura master. There's probably a different name for that that they use, but essentially that's a support type character. They don't usually deal any damage by themselves, but they've been considered to be OP for a long time. This was my attempt at making a sort of hybrid in between those two. A build that can be supportive, but I can still function if I want to solo content. Which, again, time will tell whether or not I can actually do that. Some of these I'm grabbing just because the sockets look like they might have use for other characters. But, yeah, that's a big part of this game is, is your build set up in the way that makes sense? Do your items support the build you're going for? And is it socketed in such a way that you can make it a reality? And I'm sort of at the point where I'm still getting the items and with the right sockets and colors that I need. That's really the biggest hurdle most builds face if you don't already have those items on some character somewhere is, do you have the itemization you need to support the build? So right now I'm relying pretty much entirely on general class items and just socket linkages and not actually any of the raw abilities built into those items. But that comes with time. Really just doing content until the drops show up, essentially, until the drops drop. All right, so I'm not super familiar with all of these levels. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that that run this 30, 40 times a day and have blasted through all these levels dozens of times. This is sort of my first playthrough Act 5 on any character. This is about as far as I've gotten. Like I said before, I do like testing out new builds and not just going based on the meta. Even if you have a build that is top tier. Yeah, see, here I'm starting to feel a little pain. Yeah, this boss is giving me a little bit of greed. So we'll see if he lets me stay at a distance and just summon raging spirits on him. Looks like he would. Okay. Yeah, and so that's one of the challenges is not having a character that's played through the game to have all the drops, even knowing a build that is top tier and will absolutely be good. Itemizing that build is always key as well. So even if I wanted to do that Aura Master, which I eventually will do, I can't until I have the items for it, which I just don't at this point. So having a hybrid build in between is nice in the meantime, so that I have a character I can use to actually farm the items I want. With that being said, I'm going to turn off chat for a bit and focus a little bit on clearing these levels so you guys can see how this goes.
When I'm ready and not before.